welcome back. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. If you've been watching my other videos, you'll now know we're on the digestive system, and today we're going to look at enzymes used in digestion. Enzymes are biological catalysts. They break down big molecules of food which are too big to pass through the walls of the digestive system. The enzymes are produced in the cells and are released in the gut. Big molecules include starch, which are carbohydrates, fats and proteins. These big molecules are broken down by something called enzymes. The enzymes that break down fats are called lipases. The enzyme breaking down starch are carbohydrates, and the enzyme that breaks down proteins are proteases. Lipases break down fats to fatty acids and glycerol. Carbohydrates break down carbohydrates such as starch into simple sugars such as glucose, and proteases break down proteins to amino acids. A tip to remember: the carbohydrates that breaks down starch is called amylase, and once you get your simple sugar such as glucose formed, that is used in respiration to provide energy. Another tip to remember is when the starch is broken down, it makes maltose, and then the maltose is further broken down to glucose. Let's have a look at all of these enzymes and see what they're broken down into. So let's start with the mouth. In the mouth you have the salivary glands, which produce the enzyme amylase. Amylase breaks down the starch into maltose and then eventually glucose. In the stomach you have an enzyme called pepsin, which breaks down the proteins into amino acids. In the pancreas you have amylase, proteases and lipases, which break down the food molecules into further smaller molecules. The amylase breaks it down into simple sugars like we've seen before. The proteases break them down into amino acids as we've seen here, and the lipases break down the food into fatty acids and glycerol. Another place you have these enzymes are in the small intestines. So in the small intestines you again have amylase, you have proteases and you have lipases. Again, the amylase breaks food down into simple sugars such as glucose. The proteins are broken down by protease into amino acids, and the lipases are the enzyme that breaks down fats into fatty acids and glycerol. This brings us to the last section, exam questions. Question 1. Where is the enzyme amylase produced in the human body? Draw a ring around the correct answer, and this is worth 1 mark. So if we think back to the stomach, that had pepsin in there, and the salivary glands were in the mouth, and we had the amylase in there. And liver we didn't touch upon today, but we have looked at that in the other videos, and we know that is connected to the production of bile, so that doesn't apply to enzymes. So for amylase our answer would be the salivary glands. Question 2. Digestive enzymes are made by different organs in the digestive system. Complete the table below by putting a tick or a cross in the boxes. The first box has been done for you. So we have organs producing enzymes. So we have the salivary glands, the stomach, pancreas and small intestines. This question is worth 2 marks. It also shows the enzymes amylase, lipase and proteases. Amylase is produced in the salivary glands, which is in the mouth. It's not produced in the stomach. It's produced in the pancreas, and it's produced in the small intestines. Lipases are not produced in the salivary glands because they're not produced in the mouth. They're not produced in the stomach because they are produced in the pancreas and in the small intestines. For proteases, again, they are not produced in the salivary glands, which is in the mouth. You do get pepsin in the stomach, so they are produced in the stomach. They are in the pancreas and also in the small intestines. For this question worth 3 marks, we need to match the statements to the responses. Let's have a look at the statements. We have amylase, which would be in the mouth from the salivary glands. From the question, we need to look at what starch is broken down to. So starch is broken down to simple sugars. For the next question, we need to look at what fats is broken down to. So fats are broken down to fatty acid and glycerol. The last one, we need to know what proteins are broken down to. Proteins are broken down to amino acids. The enzyme that breaks down the fats is lipases, and the enzyme that breaks down proteins are proteases. So if we match this up, amylase breaks down starch into sugars, lipases breaks down fats into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteases breaks down proteins into amino acids. Linking word for today is enzymes. When we think of enzymes, we should think of a catalyst. When we think of enzymes, we should also think of digestion. If we think of digestion, we should think of carbohydrates. We should think of proteins. We should think of fats. When we think of carbohydrates, we should think of amylase. When we think of amylase, we should think of the mouth. And we should think of amylase breaking the food down to simple sugars. When we think of simple sugars, we should think of glucose. For proteins, we should think of proteases. Think of proteases, we should think of amino acids. When we think of fats, we should think of lipases. When we think of lipases, we should think of fatty acids and glycerol. We can link these words further from previous videos. Glucose can be linked to energy, and energy can be linked to respiration. Amino acids can be linked to growth and repair. Thank you for watching. Join me on my next video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel.